What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's get into the TA. All right, so I'm going to start off by pointing out that we do have QQQ crossing under the momentum sell line over on the weekly CCI. And you have the same thing happening on the CCI over here on SPY's weekly chart. All right, so flashback to the weekly report. I told you guys that if we do end up seeing that, we will have weeks of selling. That is something that is going to be taking place, right? You can reference what happened here. You can reference what happened over here. Reference what happened here, here. Okay, guys, these signal lines they end up leading to a lot of continuation of whatever's going on when it happens, all right? So you have the sell momentum line going on. I am expecting we have weeks of red ahead, all right? And I'm expecting we're probably going to come down to new lows. I don't know how quick it happens, all right? It's probably going to take quite some time, just like it has taken every other time, all right? But I do think it's probably going to be quicker than these other times where we're trying to, chopped around. Well, I mean, I guess you didn't chop around. You did come down. But what I am trying to say is you do have the bond market pricing in things that if it's doing this, you should have the market, heading towards lows, all right? If they're pricing these rates, guys, and they were pricing in way less rates down here, just by default, that's just going to make equities more expensive. They should apply a bigger discount rate, okay, if they're trying to price in the future federal funds rate, all right? I did also say in the weekly report that it's only a matter of time until the bond market, the big market that dictates what happens in the stock market, the bond market controls the stock market. It's only a matter of time that what's going on over there comes over to here, and that is what we're seeing take place right now. Now, I will say I was expecting a back test to take place. Remember, we do deal in probabilities here. I guarantee I will not be right about everything. I'm not even going to say, I don't say anything with certainty. If you guys haven't noticed, I say likely before almost everything I say when I'm speaking of the technicals, which is why I pretty much exposed myself to never being like fully wrong, because like, guys, I'm not going to sit there with my head in the sand. Like over here, I will say over here, I was definitely decently wrong there. I will say right there. All right. I was definitely being a bit of a over the top bear over here. But I did also learn my lesson, and I also learned my lesson that stops need to be applied. So that is something that I was actually able to take into today. All right, I did get to, if anybody was following on the Twitter, I did call out 298 0 DTs right off open. I said I was grabbing, I ended up grabbing 5 of those, and I will say I took like 40% gains on one of them. I think it was, where was it? Over here on QQQ, all right? Oh, it was over here, right? So I took like 40% gains on one of them, and then literally just didn't end up, I got stopped out for 50% after. It was somewhere over here. I don't remember where it was, all right? But like, this is why, right? Zero DTs, guys, just realize the vast majority of people will lose all of their money, all right? Because you probably, I mean, honestly, you'll probably get emotionally sucked into them. Like I get emotionally, like if I'm in a swing position, all right, I've been like over here, all right? I got emotionally sucked into that swing position. I just kept adding to it, all right? So like a lot of people are probably going to lose so much money on zero DTs. So just know that. And that's why I mean, I'm going to only be using that 50% stop on every single one, just because like, hey, they literally go to zero at the end of the day, guys. So if you want to lose all your money, there you go. Don't use the stop. But if you don't want to lose all your money, there you go. All right. I did end up trying another one, but I will say when I entered that, I did not see what I'm seeing right here on the chart. We're going to discuss the factors right here. I'm just letting you guys know what I do here on the channel is I bring all of the factors on the table to you guys, so you guys can form your own big picture point of view. Well, I mean, we do have a big picture point of view here on the channel, but I do what I do so you guys can make your own educated decisions. All right. Because at the end of the day, you guys are in control of your own money, all right? So if you guys are like literally just blindly following someone, there you go, all right? You have chosen to blindly follow someone, there you go. You have exposed yourself to losses or gains, whatever it is, but just know you're in control of your money. You got to manage that for yourself, all right? But yeah, so we're going to go over the charts. Let's go over the charts. We're going to start off here on, I did just mention the weekly CCI, all right? So yeah, we do have weeks of selling, but we can end up getting a bounce, all right? I'm not going to say a bounce is likely because at the current point in time, I don't know, all right? We are going to be talking about where I think a bounce would come in, all right? But we're also going to reference what has happened the previous times when we're gonna take it back over here to SPX. All right, over here, we're gonna reference the previous times when your CCI ended up hitting the minus 100 line here on these downturns. All right, which the first one is right here. All right, and we can just hit shift and go like that. Let's see how much further. You fell 3% before having a meaningful bounce. Okay. Well, what happened over here? All right, it was this big fat red bar, which that looks pretty similar to what we got right now, except we add a gap to it. All right, 4% before you had your meaningful bounce. Now, this was before a counter trend. At first, I was relating this to what we had going on there and what we had going on here, or here, or here. I thought it was going to be a counter trend. It wasn't a counter trend. All right, you had a 20% move on QQ. That's not a counter trend. That was bigger than the overall move on QQ. All right, but yeah, okay. So right there, 3%, 4%. Now let's look at over here. When you cross under right here, you got your close. All right, right here. Well, guess what, guys? You fell 7% before having a meaningful bounce, and that bounce was only 5%, and then you went lower. All right, now you come over here. All right, it was this day right here. Well, guess what, guys? You had another minus 4%. Holy sweet baby Jesus. This happened all in one day right there? Minus 4%. Yeah, guys. Holy crap. But yeah, all right. So that was the other time, and you fell 6% before having a meaningful bounce there. All right. Let's see what happened over here. All right. Well, you know what? Disregard. I guess we can't disregard it. I guess we can't, because that wasn't a counter trend rally. We got to count this as like, hey, we got a new 5-wave structure setting up. So we're probably going to have 2 counter trends on this move lower. All right. And I think the first one could pop up at a certain spot. We're going to talk about that briefly in a sec. All right. But looking over here, well, guess what? You crossed under here. You fell again 7% before having a meaningful bounce. All right. Same thing over here. Over there. All right. You fell 5% before having a meaningful bounce. All right. So, like, I'm just saying, guys, stuff can be going down. All right. If it's going to be like this, I don't think it's going to be like this, but it can be like this. You're going to get a decent bounce, but you're going to continue lower very shortly after that. All right. And once you end up coming back into oversold territory, then, oh, boom, before a meaningful bounce, 5%. All right. So I hope you guys see what I'm getting at here. We can just keep falling off a cliff here. All right. I have been expecting exactly this. All right. I'm not going to say I prepared the best for this. I was forced to enter. March 17 puts today as we were declining. All right. Pretty much when I stopped out on my 0 DTs. That is when I ended up adding those. So I'm not going to say it was a good spot, but it is literally just in case what I just showed you guys happens. All right. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it can happen. Do you see what is going on? You see the stochastic is still just heading straight down. Boom. We can just keep going down. But I will say your blue line right there is getting pretty close to 0. All right. And once that hits 0, then I think we're probably going to start seeing chop or a bounce. All right. But yeah, all right. Look at that. All right. So now let's start with Mr. VIX. All right. I know we just went over the CCI there on SPY, but I guess we didn't really go over much else. All right, over here on Mr. VIX, this is the highest level on the CCI that you have hit since over here, all right, which was very close to your top. I don't think this is going to be close to the top, though. I think we're very close to this. I think it's exactly like this. And this is what I told you guys that it was probably going to be. It's probably going to be chop, all right, where it's not going to go straight, or not chop, but it's going to have the form of a zigzag. All right, and that's exactly what we got. Now, if you guys were around, all right, and you're not new here to the channel, which is most of you, except for like 50 of you, right here, these 2 days right here, you see that wick and you see that. I told you guys, if you are a bear, if you want to get short or you are short, this is exactly what you want to see. All right, you just broke out of your 2-month-long consolidation. You are back testing that consolidation pattern. All right. Exactly what you wanted to see, and that is exactly what happened. Okay, you ended up back testing it and it was successful. Now, something I will also point out right here is you're over the 50 MA. Notice how you've been declining on, like you have been getting rejected by the 50 MA. You haven't had a single candle close above it this whole time. All right, which tells me, hey guys, things are heating up. Things are heating up. And again, you didn't even close above it there, but boom, you had the gap up today. Now, I do see that we do have the wick, but it is actually only 2:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, so a lot can change going into the end of the day, but as of right now, you have a wick that is suggesting puts are closing on SPX. All right, but either way, I wouldn't be surprised to see this take place because we do have FOMC minutes coming out tomorrow. And I'm going to go over the spot that I think SPY and QQ likely bounce in. It doesn't have to happen, but like if we're going to see a bounce, it's probably going to happen there since we're kind of floating in this middle range right now, this middle ground. All right. But yeah, I do think VIX probably ends up backtesting at 50 MA, and then you're off to the races. You're probably going to end up hitting this target. I don't know how far you go, like how much quicker. All right. But it's probably going to be very similar to this, where you get a zigzag sort of thing. It's the same thing that happened over here. This is what I was expecting. All right. That's what's happening. All right. Again, I'm not going to say I fully, like, I didn't have the best preparation here. I could have, you know, I could have just bought puts and held on to the, like, I could have just bought my March 17 puts and just like chilled with them instead of hopping in and out of them. All right. Over the last few days, I think on this day I ended up cutting them. I wish I had them for today. I really do, but that is okay. Okay. Sometimes, you know, your boy doesn't make the best decisions, but you know, he will prevail in the long run. Okay. Because he will be here with longevity, guys. I don't care if, yeah, I don't really care about anything, guys. I'm going to keep showing up here to the YouTube channel, guys, for years and years to come. All right. So if you guys are a fan of hearing that, guys, feel free to follow along. All right. There you go. All right. I do put a decent amount of work in here. So if you guys do want to support that, we do have the Substack. That will be in the description today. You could become a YouTube member. You could go over to Substack and you can go do that. Or what I will say you can also do, Substack is free. So that is actually going to be the written updates. I'm going to be posting them each day there. And Substack actually allows me to have the pictures right underneath my paragraphs instead of all at the bottom. So instead of the Weeble and Facebook updates, having all the pictures at the bottom, so you have to keep scrolling back and forth. Nope. Now I'm literally showing you exactly what I'm referencing. So if you guys are a fan of that, there you go. All right. I'm going to delete the, well, I'm not going to delete the Facebook, but it'll just be there. I'm not going to be posting on it. Maybe I will delete it. I don't know, because I'm not going to be using it. I know I'm not going to be using Facebook. I know, like, some people still use Facebook, but I was trying to gain traction on Facebook. I got nothing. The only people that came along were the people from YouTube. So, yeah, I'm probably not going to put any more effort in over there. But yeah, Substack, if you guys do want that, that is literally, that's an email newsletter, or you could just go on to substack.com onto my profile, or just click literally in the description. It'll bring you right there. But if you don't want to do that, it'll literally get sent to your email. So that is pretty cool. You get all my written updates guaranteed sent to your email. You're not missing a single thing. That's cool. And it's free. All right. For now. All right. Eventually it will not be free. But for now, yeah, there's 100% a free option for probably until next year. All right. There's that. But yeah, moving on, guys, we do have the stochastic doing that, and you do have your RSI bouncing again off of our RSI trend line. I told you guys in the weekly report that I wouldn't be surprised, or not the weekly report, it was over here. I wouldn't be surprised that we end up getting the bounce over here. And then also in the weekly report, I did think we were going to get the bounce on SPY SPX. I'll go over that in a second here. All right, but I said I wouldn't be surprised if we get the bounce off the trend line. Well, guess what, guys? We didn't end up getting that, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a decent sized counter trend rally that brings you back down there. But also, I did show you guys what I showed you guys in the beginning, where once SPX's CCI crossed under that 100, we likely have, like, we'll say 3 to 7% of 3 to 8% of downside before any meaningful bounce on every other occurrence except one. That's probably going to be the case. And except one was literally right here. And then boom, you had a lot more downside. All right. After that chop. Now, like, I'm just saying, all right? So, like, no matter what we go over, just know that, hey, it's commencing. I was trying to tell you that in the weekly report. We needed to see the trend, okay? And I was telling you guys that if we go over here to SPY's 4-hour chart, I was telling you guys that this trend line was going to be very telling. And the reason because of that, it's going to literally confirm that we're getting that lower high, all right? You're in this range here, right? Well, guess what? Today's action broke down from that range. So we're not looking for, like, it still can backtest the trend line, but we're not looking for it to do so anymore. It can do it, but it doesn't need to. It's not going to mean so much to me. I mean, it's still like if we see it get up here and start getting selling pressure, there you go. But I don't think you're going to end up getting back up here now that you had this happen. Maybe you come up and fill that gap. All right. But the reason it was going to be meaningful is just like, hey, are you going to form that lower low? If you form the lower low, it's likely that you get impulsive selling to come form, or not a lower low, lower high. If you get the lower high, it's likely that you get the lower low. Well, guess what, guys? We just got another lower low. So we had your higher low, higher high, higher low, lower high, lower, excuse me, lower low. Over here, the same high, guys. All right. Well, guess what, guys? Now you have your lower low. I was counting that as the low. Well, guess what? This is now your lower low. Now I'm looking for this. I don't know if it's going to end up just back testing this and then you continue down, or you get something more aggressive and you come up to that gap fill. All right, that is what I'm going to be looking for. But like I said, we're kind of just in a middle ground here. We're in a middle ground here on QQ and SPY. We broke this demand / support zone, whatever you want to call it. That's what I was watching for a bounce. You didn't end up getting it. I thought you were going to end up doing a little thing like that and then continuing lower. You didn't end up getting that. I'm sorry, guys. That's why I say likely. Literally with, I will say 95% of the things I say here on the channel, and honestly, also on Twitter, I also say likely, right? Things don't always have to work out, okay? Technicals aren't always going to work out. They just don't. And if anybody wants to think they work out 100% of the time, I promise you're going to be so disappointed. And if you're looking at my TA like that, oh, dude, please just stop following along. I will never not get disappointment from you. That's the only thing that's going to come out of that. So if you are thinking like that, please nip that in the butt right now. Guaranteed that's not how it works. All right, that is just not how it works. Charts, the market, everything's irrational, guys. It's irrational. The market's like, the whole idea of the market is to take money from the impatient and put it in the patient's pocket. Okay, like it's literally dealers trying to take everybody's money. That's what the market is designed to do. It's designed to take money, all right, and distribute wealth to the people who figure out the system, all right? Well, guess what, guys? All right, if you think technicals are always going to like 100% work 100% of the time, no, all right? No, you are going to have your money taken over and over and over and over again. It's just how it's going to happen, all right? They will prevail, all right? Technicals will eventually always prevail on these larger time frames. You got the weekly and you got the daily over here, all right? They will, all right? But guess what? Guess what, guys? Guess what? All right. Things don't have to work out immediately. All right. They literally don't. You guys see what happened with this weekly time frame here. It just kept ripping. You ripped past where everybody thought you would get rejection. Well, where I thought you'd get rejection, probably along with a lot of the other people who were bearishly positioned or were bearishly positioning over there. So yeah, but yeah, look what the market did. It ripped faces, and now guess what? It sucked everybody into where the fear and greed index was at 79, and then boom, they're pulling the rug. I told you guys the rug pull was coming, okay? And I also said in the weekly update, you have two back-to-back long-legged dojis, literally the same exact thing you have over here, except the opposite. You have the long legs, the downside over here suggesting buying pressure. Will up here, you have three topping tails suggesting selling pressure, all right? So I'm not going to be surprised if you literally come right back down here. All right, that is where I think you head in a decent hurry. Okay, probably in 1 to 2 weeks. All right, but yeah, coming over to the 4-hour time from here. Let's just look. I know you don't have any divergence. You do have your RSI just stepping down into that oversold territory there. You are getting a decent sized bounce there, actually, now that I'm seeing that. I don't know if you end up getting a bounce going into the end of the day, but I do think it's probably going to start from this spot right here, coming over to the 4-hour time frame. I guess we could bring that a little up, just right there. All right, you didn't end up hitting it. Maybe you aren't going to hit it. Maybe they're going to front run everyone, and people who want to go along here, they're not going to give them the chance, and they're going to end up doing that. All right, but now that this is happening, I'm going to be looking for, we're going to be looking for resistance here and here. I don't know which one is going to end up stopping this, but it's probably going to be this one. I think you probably end up rallying with FOMC tomorrow or into FOMC. Well, I mean, honestly, also, my opinion is that you probably end up rallying on FOMC just because, remember, Jerome was taking that victory lap. Well, guess what came right before he was going outside and taking the victory lap? They were discussing, all right? So, like, that's what we're going to see their discussion. And if he was, like, not going to say he was bullish, okay? He had, I meant when I said he had hawkish language, but he had a dovish tone, all right? So, like, if they were all talking dovish in there, I'm just saying, like, there's a solid shot that all the Moon Boys and the people who thought the new bull market was here, they're probably going to hop back on this thing, all right? Oh, go. But guess what, guys? I just showed you guys the trend has officially changed. You broke your previous low here, which can be shown by this this support zone we got there. You're down here, right? So now I'm 100%. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a lower high. All right, guys, that is just how it goes. All right, and again, I'm going to repeat myself. The purpose of this channel, guys, I'm just trying to give you guys all of the factors on the table so you guys can make your own educated decisions with what you do with your money. Because at the end of the day, you are 100% in control of what you do with your money. I have no control over that. I have control over what I put into these videos and what I do with my money. All right. And like at the end of the day, guys, these videos, they're valuable. All right. If you want to just sit there like a blind bat there and just think I'm always going to be right, There you go. That's that. I openly say that, hey guys, some of the times I'm an idiot. Some of the times I'm gonna look smart. But like, yeah, sometimes I'm gonna be an idiot. I'm gonna get things wrong. Guaranteed. That's why I say likely a lot. All right. But yeah, come over here on the 1 hour time frame. You did have this triple bullish divergence here on QQQ. You nullified that. Now you just have a single bullish divergence over there on QQ, but you do also have a bullish divergence here on your RSI going on right here compared to those candles right there. So you got that going on. Let's see if you got the same thing on SPY. Oh, what do we have right here? We have do we have another bullish? You're at 23 on SPY. That's crazy. No, you don't have a bullish divergence there, but either way, like you're deeply oversold there. That is on the hourly time frame. You come over to the 4 hour time frame, you're also deeply oversold there. So guys, like, what do I tell you guys all the time about these time frames? You got to just line them up. All right, when one time frame suggesting something, you got to look at the other one. So we got oversold here on the daily, oversold here on the 4 hour, oversold here on the 1 hour. All right, with a slight bullish divergence popping up here. All right, you come down to the 30-minute. What we got going? We have a bullish divergence going on the 30-minute time frame right there. So that is something to take note of. All right, that is that. All right, that is that. But yeah, okay. Let me actually I'm conflicted, guys. I am conflicted, all right, because like right now I'm in like half of my desired put position, and I like think you do definitely like, but I don't want to say definitely because I just showed you guys what I showed you guys. Like we can just keep falling off a cliff here. We can, all right. I just don't think it's going to happen, but we can, all right. We can. Every other time the SPX has hit that with right there, like that's just what has happened, all right. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I still think you get a bounce. I still think you get the bounce, and that's just because of what I'm looking at. You come over here to VIX's 1 hour here. You have this triple bearish divergence going on, guys. You have 1 point of divergence right there, 1 point right there, 1 point right there, and you got the topping tail that's forming right now. All right, there's a very solid shot that you do end up getting that bounce going into tomorrow. All right, or it ends up happening going into Thursday. I don't know, and then you sell off with PC on Friday. I don't know. But now that we went over the charts, which actually something I want to show you before we go over that, let's just look at this real quick. ZQ, all right, we can look at all these, all right. So this is something I saw on Twitter today. Look at that, guys. This is the August one, all right. So this is August Fed futures, and they are priced in to much more elevated rates than what we were at Lowe's. And yeah, guys, this is just literally going to lead to the market pricing in a bigger discount rate and on equities. And there you go, all right? QQQ, the tech stocks, the unprofitable companies, guys, they go and die again. They go and do the same thing they did over there. And then you're going to have another shot to pump them, all right? You're probably going to get another pump, all right? But you're probably going to bring them back down to the lows you had before because of what I'm showing you guys right here, all right? This is just not stuff you want to see. This is for December. December, they still think rates are going to be up here. All right, guys, like this is not okay. All right. If you are a bull and you want to say like, hey, the new bull market started, this is the opposite of what you want to see. Opposite, guaranteed, opposite. All right. So there's that. All right. So also the last thing I want to say is you do have this triple bearish divergence over here on DXY. Or is it triple? No, it's not triple. All right. You do have a bearish divergence on DXY's daily CCI. All right, which is why I wouldn't be surprised if you get a pullback. But yeah, DXY kind of can do whatever it wants. All right, you can see that it could literally just keep exploding upwards. But I think it's probable that you do end up forming these consolidation patterns along the way. So maybe that's what we got going on here. It's just some consolidation. But I will say it's not exploding like it has done in the past. You come over here to the weekly chart, and very clearly, yeah, this thing it has some room to run. If your stochastic starting to hinge down, I don't know. All right, I do think I think DXY is probably going to keep putting selling pressure on equities. It's gonna, same thing about that discount rate that I was just telling you guys. Well, the more expensive DXY is, the less equities have to be. That's just how it works. All right, the more expensive debt is going to be. All right, that's the same thing with the interest rates, same thing with DXY. It's all part of the same system. It's a debt-based system. All right, so the higher these things go, lower equities go. That's just how it works. All right. Yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Like I said before, I'm expecting VIX to probably end up pulling back. Not probably. I'm expecting VIX to pull back, but I'm saying it probably happens. It doesn't have to happen. Maybe we end up seeing this RSI trend line prevail one more time before we end up popping off for a big shoot up. All right, something like that. All right, big water shed event or waterfall event, whatever the heck it's called. I don't know. All right. But yeah, now let's go over the economic calendar. Now we went over the charts. Okay. So I hope you guys took something out of this. You guys know, like, guys, these are the factors on the table, right? I'm just trying to show you guys what is like what's going on. All right. You guys can make your own decision off of this. I'd say you're probably going to bounce with these, but I also showed you guys that you can keep falling off a cliff. All right. Like it's one or the other. All right. Is this time going to be different? That's really what you got to ask yourself. All right. It can be. I'm not gonna open my mouth about that. You guys answer that for yourselves. All right. I will also say Apple just never turned back up and back tested this trend line. With how far it went now, I don't think it's probable that it back tests the trend line. If we were to do it from one where we closed the other day, 152, then yeah, I would say that was the probable scenario. Now, no. Not happening, all right? But clearly, the largest component on SPX and SPY and QQQ, it's clearly still got a bunch of room to go, all right? So the further Apple goes, if you see Apple down here, guys, we're getting back down into lows. That's just what's going to happen, all right? That we're getting back down to where QQQ was right over here, all right? Which was $5 off of the low. So there you go. All right, but now let's go over the economic calendar. So, yeah, we got the FOMC minutes, which I don't know what those are going to be. I think they're probably going to be dovish FOMC minutes. But I think it's going to be the Fed speakers that end up really shocking people. They're probably going to be saying what the bond market is saying. Guys, like, hey, we're going to start doing higher rates. That's what I think is going to end up happening. Now, the PCE is the Fed's, it's their favorite indicator for inflation. So we're going to have to see if this comes in hot, guys. All hell is going to break loose on Friday. That's what's going to happen, in my personal opinion. What likely happens, okay? But yeah, look at how many Fed speakers you have. So this is where I really do think Friday is going to be terrible, all right? I think it probably is terrible. I think you probably end up getting a bounce going into Thursday or Friday. Maybe it's just a bounce for tomorrow, all right? But likely you end up, like, if these things are going to sell off the market big, then you probably get that bounce going into it. All right, so we're going to have to see what happens, but that is what I think is going to happen. I think PC is probably going to it's probably going to come in hot, guys. We've had 3 out of 4 inflation. What is it? Inflation. What's the word I'm thinking of? Inflation markers, inflation indicators. What am I? No, there's definitely another word for that. Whatever. All right, brain fart moment. I guess we're gonna let it slip. All right. But either way, this is going to move the market. If it comes in late, guys, there you go. You're going to get a pop with PC. All right. Most likely. All right. And that's just because, like, hey, both theses is slipping back up. But I'm going to say right now, with how far things have gone this quick, how quick this narrative has changed, I don't think it's just going to get back into that again. But then again, all right, the market is designed to take people's money. And the biggest way to do that is to bring in certainty. So maybe they're going to do it some more. I have no idea. All right, no idea, but likely that PC ends up, you got a big fat sell-off on Friday. All right, so I will leave you guys with that. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hope everybody has a lovely rest of your day, and peace.